It seems like if we go back to the last 100 years of history in the country, the debt has only grown higher and higher and higher. Um, the taxes have bobbled up and down a little bit but for the most part seem to always be going up as well. When you look at the amount of debt that we're adding, it seems like the tax rate is going to have to go up. So to me, it seems like it'd be a better idea to pay the tax up front today, knowing what we have versus waiting until the future. Do you see that, or do you think some people just want to roll the dice?
I mean, having the crystal ball on where taxes will be in the future to me feels like having the crystal ball on which stock to buy and when to sell.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the history of tax rates, I mean, first of all, it wasn't, let's see, much more than 100 years ago that we didn't even have income tax.
Right.
So since the introduction of income tax, which caused a big riot when it was rolled out, I think it was about 40 years ago, somewhere around 1980. I think the highest tax rate was around 70%, something like that. You can look up the history of tax rates. You can find some interesting charts. So, if you think from kind of prior to Reagan being president, having a 70% tax rate to George W. being president, having a 35% top rate, you go, okay, well, geez, that got cut by half in 30 years. Um, so it has been low, it is lower, it has been higher. It would seem like in the future, they're going to have to raise taxes because the government simply cannot afford what they're spending.
Right.
So, the challenge the government has, and from my limited exposure to government, it seems like the number one concern of the politicians is getting reelected. And, then number two and below is policy concerns. So, getting reelected, when you go and you start cutting benefits, whether it's unemployment or welfare or Social Security or Medicaid or whatever, you start cutting benefits, it's not very popular in the voter base, and you can lose voters, which means you can lose your reelection. So the government isn't that excited about cutting those things because they don't want to lose votes. They don't want to lose their reelection.
Right.
But we don't have enough money to pay for it all. So something's got to give. We could
Yeah.
continue going in debt, but I think even that's gonna break down at some point. So what we've been doing is we've said, you know what, we'll just keep the programs going without increasing taxes. Instead of increasing taxes, we'll just increase debt. But those are basically the three tools. They're using debt, tax, and spending.
Right.
So you can cut spending, you can raise taxes, or you can take on debt, or some combination. So politics drives a lot of this. I mean, the 2018 tax law change, the Tax Cuts and Job Act that got put through effective the beginning of 18, I think is one of the most significant tax changes since Reagan
Wow.
administration. And I mean, it's incredibly significant. And but you could have significant change the other way. So
Right.
I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see where it goes. I mean, we've had look at estate tax when people die. The estate tax exemption not that long ago, I forget what year it was only $600,000, and everything over $600,000 was taxed at something around 50%. Now it's like 12 million, and it's taxed at 40%.
Hmm.
So, but there was a time period one year randomly under George Bush where I think it was 2012. If you died in 2012, there was zero estate tax.
Wow.
So things in tax are just like anything else in government. I think it's hard to predict, and it can change a lot.